It's spooky season. Who would you consider to be the king of horror? Welcome back to the John's Comics with Kids YouTube channel. I'm a comic fan, but I'm also a movie fan, and I've got 4 movies every week for you across all the streaming services with a common theme. This week, it's the king of horror himself, Stephen King. And for those of you that are fans, you know the amount of quality that comes out of Stephen King. There's just so many great movies, so many great books, so many things to enjoy. And I've got one from each of the major streaming services for you to enjoy. I'm going to kick it off with Hulu. Over on Hulu, I think there's an underrated movie from Stephen King, a movie that often overlooked because I just don't think it was popular enough, by Frank Darabont, the creator of Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile, other great King books into movies, but I'm going to go with The Mist. This is a much more violent, much darker, more classically science fiction horror from King, all having to do with a strange mist that seems to assault a small town and a group of people trapped in a supermarket while this goes down. Thomas Jane is great as the lead. Lots of great character actors scattered through this cast. For me, this is a real great look at human nature in an emergency. And there's a lot of drama going on here. Some really heavy, powerful moments, but also some great horror monster freak out moments. It is very graphic. It is very violent. It is a very heavy ending. And there's a black and white version, I believe, on DVD that you can check out if you haven't seen it. But I highly recommend The Mist. Good horror fun. Next, let's jump over to Amazon for another classic. In this case, much older. I got Children of the Corn. This is a whole series. There's many of these, but the original is kind of the best. I don't know how anything could ever come close to it. Again, small town, creepy vibe coming from all the young children, where the adults, two people on a road trip that get trapped in town, and then the creepy things that come out of it. Just a great horror film. Very simple concept here, and you get great things coming out of the way the movie is shot, the music, all that. 80s classic. If you missed it, it's over on Amazon Prime. Next, let's go with something a little more meaningful, and I've got Stand By Me. Those of you that don't know, this River Phoenix classic, directed by Rob Reiner, is in fact based on a Stephen King short story called The Body. It is in the Different Seasons volume of short stories that also includes The Shawshank Redemption, among other stories. Stand By Me is just a beautiful film, a coming of age story about a group of boys who decide that they want to be the first ones to discover the missing body of a local boy who's passed away. And the movie sort of follows them on this road trip as they walk through the woods to try to find it. Lots of things going on here, a lot of heavy, deep emotions, but also just some real great, good comedy acting among the kids. This is just a meaningful, great movie. If you've never seen Stand By Me, I can't recommend it enough. You will absolutely love it, and it's over on Netflix. Lastly, let's jump over to HBO, where you have all of it. And by that, I mean it. Both the original television adaptation miniseries with so many great character actors like John Ritter, or whether you want the modern update, 2 parts, It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2. It's just everything you want from horror. That's the reason why I grabbed this off my daughter's bookshelf. She's a big horror fan and loves it. Mostly she likes the Teen Boys, but we'll get into that later. This is a really classic film. I prefer the original version, mostly because I think It Chapter 2 just doesn't have the same emotional weight. But if you haven't seen it, it's all over there on HBO, and you can check it out. So there you go. That is all of the king of horror that I've got for you. Let me know if you've got any other Stephen King favorites, and I'll see you guys again next week.